strictly professional here, you know.
Got it. How's it going, all? I'm Adam with Raw Imagery. I'm here sitting here with Aaron from Gemini Syndrome.
It's cracking.
How's it going, man?
Good.
Good. So
Hot and sweaty here.
yeah, it's actually a cool day for us. It's just humid with
It's
the
humid. That's why it's so weird out here, man.
Yeah, they
Just
say
been
they-
sweating profusely all day. So.
They say it's a dry heat, but when our monsoons come, man, it's
Yeah.
nasty. So
Yeah.
it's a wrencher. Anyways, so before we get to the music stuff, since you have albinism like me, I wanted to ask you questions about growing up and stuff like that. How
Sure.
did it affect you growing up as a younger kid up till now, or?
I mean, heavily, obviously, you know. It was hard as a kid. I think that was the most difficult years was like, you know, your formative years, you know, junior high,
Right.
elementary school, high school was definitely all the toughest. A lot of bullying. I'd moved around a couple times, so it was, you know, getting into a new school and a bigger town. I was born and raised in a town with about 3,000 people, so that had its own difficulties. Just being from that small-minded community type environment, and then going to a place where there was about 100,000 people and a little more affluent area, kind of those yuppie kids. So they were like vultures to the feed. You know what I mean? As far as like picking on me and stuff.
Gotcha.
Definitely fought depression and anger and stuff, and that's probably inevitably what led me to play and listen to like metal and stuff. You know, I remember hearing Pantera for the first time and Fear Factory, and just being like so like finding that release, that vent of just something to let that anger out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Somewhere along the way, I got involved in Hapkido. I had an advocate to the state education board who was a sensei, and he took me under his wing and started teaching me that. And then through him, I met my Kung Fu Sifu. So I've been doing martial arts for about 18 years, and that was another huge, I guess, coping mechanism for me. Another way to just release that energy, release that anger, and that frustration, aggression.
Right. It's good. Yeah, I did martial arts for a few years when I was younger. I did kempo, so it was nice. You know, you learn to respect more for people and to just discipline and learn to just kind of focus your own energy and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So growing up, did you move around a lot, or did you get kicked out of schools, or I mean, were you a trouble kid, or I mean, I know myself, I got kicked out of schools left and right, so.
I didn't get kicked out. Oh, there they go. It's our merch games for the day. I was definitely troubled. I got in fights and stuff, but it was always like I was never the provoker. I was always
Right.
like, I would wait until I snapped,
Just,
and then I'd
just
use,
basically just sticking up for yourself.
yeah, and then I'd lose it, and then I'd freak out and hurt people, and then I'd feel really bad. And I remember, you know, going to like the principal's office or the coach's office, and like I'd be, after like pummeling somebody, I'd be crying, you know, like, I'm sorry I beat you up, but you asked for it, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
High school was probably the toughest, just going into that environment. I ended up getting taken out of high school about 8 weeks in, and they were looking, that same guy, my sensei, was my advocate, and we were looking for alternative schooling methods. We didn't know if we were going to do like a private high school, if we were going to do homeschool, and then they looked at, I had taken the ACT when I was in 8th grade, and I got a very good score, so they submitted me to universities, Illinois Benedictine and North Central College in outside Chicago, and they both accepted me at 14, so I ended up going to school at private university instead of high school. So that was an interesting turn in my life, just being that young, being surrounded by an older, I guess more mature, more experienced age bracket. They were more understanding. You know, you don't have that pissant teenage, like, I don't know who I am, so I'm going to make fun of you. You know what I mean? It kind of dissipates with age. I mean, you still find ignorant people now, even in my older age or whatever. But
yeah, that was going to be my next question as far as like, you know, being older now. I mean, do you still get it from younger people or adults still, or?
Yeah, both. I mean, it's not as frequent, but it definitely happens.
Right.
You know, there'll be some idiot, you know, somewhere, whether it's on the street, sometimes at a show or whatever, they don't know what's going on, and they'll make some wisecrack, you know. And And then it's usually funny because when that happens, they usually don't realize that I'm singing in the band that they paid to see.
And then to be like, oh shit, he's actually
Yeah, and then they find me later. The funniest one so far that I can remember recently is we played somewhere on the East Coast, and the show was over. We were support, and I was watching the show after we were done. I was standing upstairs, and this guy came up to me like, I'm not an old man, let's put it that way. Like,
Right.
the guy came up to me and said, how old are you? My response to that is, well, how old do you think I am? Instead of just telling him how right. The guy looked at me dead serious. He's like, I put you late 50s, early 60s. And I was like, cut that in half and you're right. Like,
Yeah.
He didn't believe me. I had to like pull up my ID and show. My birthday had been like the week before. I was like, no, man. So I thought that was kind of funny, but he was like totally serious. Like really thought that was which is, it's kind of funny actually.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that a lot.
Yep.
So let's see, on the music. Guys have been around actually not that long, since what, 2010-ish?
Yeah, about 4.5 years now.
Yeah. Let's see, I think I read recently an article you got promoted by, was it an amp company or something that promoted you, or like sponsored you or something like that?
Yeah, we're working with Blackstar amplifiers. I know AP works with Ashdown. We've got a company called Strictly 7 Guitars that builds custom guitars for Mike. Schecter sponsors Rich. Ernie Ball Music Man's working with AP. And Brian's working with Sabian. He's trying to lock down a full drum and bass. We've got a lot of love from a lot of people.
Sounds awesome. I know you just got done playing a couple of big tours. Was it U-Fest or?
We did U-Fest. We were on a 10-week run. Kind of a revolving door. We had Star Set and Devour the Day, kind of swapping out with us along the way, and then we were doing the festivals. So we had Rock on the Range, Carolina Rebellion, Welcome to Rockville in Florida, Rocklahoma. We did Operation Rockfest in Virginia. We did Rockfest in Omaha. So a lot of really big, cool shows.
Sounds like it's been going on-stop for a while. So.
We've been hitting the road hard for the last couple of years.
It's good though. You gotta get your name and you get yourself out there and promote your music.
That's how you do it nowadays. I mean, you know, the band that we're coming out with on this run is Seven Dust, and
awesome band. I've been listening to them since high school. So.
Man, forever, one of my favorites. You know, so to go out with them is not only a huge honor, but I've met the guys a few times and they're all totally cool. They're all sweethearts, and to be able to share the road with them is very cool. We're gonna do intermittent like headline dates when they have days off. So we'll be doing like today's a one-off for us here in Arizona, just our show, and then we meet up with them on the 23rd is the first show. So we'll be out with them for about a month, and then another week headline stuff, and go home. See what happens next. We'll see if I get any time off this time.
You never have time off being a musician.
Never
I don't
home.
think so.
Yeah, we just had 3 weeks home, which was nice. So that was really the longest we've been home since the beginning of the year. We did all of February with Red. We had like a short amount of time, but then we went to South by Southwest in middle of March and came home. We were home for a week, and then we went out on that headline run with all the festival stuff, and then home for 3 weeks, and now we're out again. So
right on. So let's see, the I guess the latest or only CD you guys have is Lux.
Correct. This is our first full length.
Produced last year, I believe.
It was released in September of last year, so we're coming up on a year.
Right on. Guess you guys haven't had time to really work on new music or probably anything for future, or just kind of like.
No, we write constantly. Everybody's got, you know, even if it's as simple as a GarageBand rig or something.
Right.
You know, even me, I'll record stuff on my phone, but everybody's always kind of cataloging ideas. And you know, when we went in for this first record, we had a lot of material to pick from, so we really had to sift through and decide what we wanted for the first record. I think there's going to be some stuff that we go back and revisit, maybe revamp, maybe tweak a little bit. For the second album, we'll definitely have new material as well that we've been kind of compiling over the past couple of years.
So, yeah, I mean, I really couldn't find too much about you guys since you guys are still fairly new. I know albums other than Lux. Any actual professional videos out? I think the only ones I saw were a couple live ones. Or
we have one for Basement that we did last year. That was a full scale, like full production. But yeah, we have like the live video stuff, the compilation stuff that we've put together, a couple lyric videos that we've put together.
Gotcha.
We've really kind of focused on that end of just the graphic end of it.
Yeah.
You know, I know we'd like to do another video for something else on this record, but at the same time we're on the road so
Yeah.
much. It's like there's
Don't
not
have time.
even really time to do it. You know,
When you
'cause
have time for a family, let alone a video.
It's a big production to do that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Gotcha. So other than that, you got anything to say for your fans, or anything you else want to include or add to it? Or anything?
Man, I always say thank you because our fans are incredible. Our sinners are great, and it's been really cool to see the growth of it over the past year and a half, 2 years. You know, really since we started touring on a constant, we've got to share the road with a lot of great bands: Mushroom Head, Device, Five Finger Death Punch, now Seven Dust, to name a few. And those guys all taking us out, and, you know, Nonpoint as well, Drowning Pool, all putting us in front of their fans and their crew, you know, and giving us an opportunity to kind of win them over as well. The support's just huge, man. I mean, the amount of people that have the tattoo now is just like kind of mind-boggling, that people are really resonating with it. And my new hashtag is Unite the World, man. So
There you go, man.
I think we're getting there.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure and honor finally to meet you and let alone get an interview with you. That's all I got, unless you want to include something else. So.
I think I'm good, man.
All right, man.
GeminiSyndrome.com, all the social media /Gemini Syndrome.
Cool. I'm Adam, signing off.
I'm Aaron.